Good morning, everyone. So today I'm going to be sharing my favorite sunscreens for 2024. I've been trying to get this video up sooner, but I was testing some new formulations and I always need time to test them with makeup and on their own and so on. So I'm ready to share everything now, even though I'm a little bit later than what I was last year, but better late than never. So I do have a little bit of everything in today's video and I do have a lot. So I'm going to try and go through everything as quickly as I can, but I do have some tinted options, some non-tinted, a couple of body sunscreens, and a few lip SPFs as well. So everything that I'm sharing will be linked below for you in my description box, including discount codes and related videos. Please don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell, as I'd love to have you all here long term. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as well, as it really does help to support my channel. So I'm going to start with tinted sunscreens, and the first product is by Kosas. This is the Dream Beam Sunlit Comfy Smooth Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 40 with a PA++++, and this is also water resistant up to 80 minutes. So remember, if you're going to be near water, playing sports, you're going to be outside and you know you're going to be sweating, then you want to use a water resistant formula, because these are going to stay on the skin longer than a sunscreen that isn't water resistant. This is all mineral with a zinc oxide of 21.7%, and this has a nice bronzy tint to it, but also it gives the most beautiful glowing complexion. Perfect as a makeup base, so you can use this before your foundation and your makeup. But what I like to do is I like to put this all over my face, of course, and then I like to add just a little bit of blush on top, some mascara, a lip product, and away I go for that no makeup look. So generally when I'm using tinted sunscreens, I don't put foundation on top because I just feel like it's too much color on my skin, and to have more of that natural look, I just like to use that tinted sunscreen as my foundation basically. And this is great with makeup or without. It's not greasy, it's not sticky, it does dry down skin-like, and it's very lightweight on the skin also. I really like how there's peptides in here to target signs of aging. There's ceramides, there's hyaluronic acid. This is very hydrating. I do feel like this is quite plumping as well. And usually when I'm using a tinted sunscreen, I do like to use a non-tinted sunscreen before the tint, because if I were to put 2 to 3 finger lengths of sunscreen, which is generally the amount that we should be applying to our face for that proper SPF protection, I would have way too much color on my skin, especially because I'm so fair. So I always put the proper amount of sunscreen beforehand with a non-tinted, and then of course when I go in with the tint, I don't have to put as much. I can just put enough just to slightly even out my skin. But if you're into bronzy, glowing sunscreens, you're gonna love this one. Next is the Colorecience Flex line. Now this is generally what I use as that no makeup look. I like this in replacement of my foundation. Recently I did share my go-to no makeup look, and it's a look that I do 80% of the time. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to leave it below for you for your reference, as well as up here. Now this comes in 4 shades. I have it in the shade fair and medium. So generally I like to mix these two together depending on what my skin tone is at that time, because I don't put tinted sunscreens down my neck, as I don't like it to transfer onto my clothes. So I use non-tinted sunscreens down my neck and for the rest of my body, but for the face I like to customize depending on whatever skin tone I am at that time. So in the winter I am mostly fair with a couple of drops of medium. In the summer I'm mostly medium with a few drops of fair, and it just looks so beautiful and natural on the skin. I actually have it on my skin today as my foundation, and it just looks so youthful. It looks skin-like. I would say it gives a light to medium coverage. I always like to put some blush on top, maybe a little bit of bronzer, and I like to use it within my makeup routine. But if you just use it on its own, it's also beautiful. Super lightweight, it does dry down skin-like, it's not greasy or sticky. And again, it comes in 4 shades. This is all mineral with an SPF 50, and it's water resistant up to 40 minutes with a zinc oxide of 12%. Next is the Drmtlgy Luminous Eye Corrector SPF 41. I did review and demonstrate shades fair and medium, so if you haven't seen that video, I'm gonna leave it below for you and up here. Also, in my no makeup look that I was telling you about, I also applied this in that video. So again, that video will be linked below for you also. Now this is your under eye corrector. So of course, if you're someone with dark circles, discoloration, this is going to color correct. It comes in 4 shades. And this is also a great product to use as that SPF, that sun protection. Now, I use this in replacement of concealer because it does give that nice light to medium coverage. The more you apply, you most likely could get full coverage. But if you decide to put concealer on top of this, just to add more coverage, you totally can. Concealer sits really nicely on top of this eye corrector. And this doesn't exactly crease either. It might settle into some fine lines, but it's extremely hydrating and it really sits nicely, and it sits better underneath the eyes compared to a concealer. Now, I still put a little bit of translucent powder on top of this just for longevity, but this does the job well, and I love how it's an SPF 41, and it just is a nice product to pair up with concealer or in replacement of concealer. So this is all mineral as well. This has a zinc oxide of 12% and a titanium dioxide of 10%. I wear shade medium the most because it does match my skin tone the best. This is what the applicator looks like. So of course, all you have to do is just push down on this button, just add a couple of dots, spread the product underneath your eyes with the applicator, as this can help to depuff at the same time. And then I like to get my finger and then of course just spread the product evenly underneath the eyes. I do bring this on top of the eyelid as this acts as a base for eyeshadows and eyeliners. So if you hate concealers, I think you're going to really enjoy this product. Next is the Drmtlgy SPF Radiance Powder. So this is what I like to use to reapply my sunscreen throughout the day, especially if I'm wearing makeup or a tinted sunscreen and I have makeup on top of it. As you know, it's really hard to apply your liquid sunscreen on top of makeup because of course we're just going to ruin everything. So powder SPFs are a great way to reapply. It does help to mattify the skin a little bit as well. So if you do get quite shiny during the day, this is like using a translucent powder, but of course we're getting that added sun protection of SPF 30. Now this again is all mineral, so this has a titanium dioxide of 12.5% and a zinc oxide of 22.5%. This comes in 3 shades. Now I have it in the shade fair as well as medium, and they do have one deeper shade than this. So when you first get it, you want to tip it upside down, bang the bottom several times, and then you want to rub your finger through the bristles, and when you start to see the powder flying in the air, then you know it's primed and it's ready to go. And then of course you can just go in circular motions all over your face, down your neck, and reapply throughout the day. Now with something like this, I do like to try and disinfect the bristles as much as I can. So I just like to get a little spray bottle and add alcohol, and I like to dilute it a little bit with water, and I just spray the bristles every now and then just to slightly disinfect. It's probably not disinfecting it completely, but it's better than nothing. I don't want to submerge the bristles into a brush cleaner or alcohol because the powder does come out through the base where the bristles are, and I don't want that liquid getting inside to the powder. It would just ruin it. So I like to spritz, like I said, and it's better than nothing. So if you're looking for a good product to reapply your sunscreen throughout the day, this is wonderful. Moving on to non-tinted sunscreens. The first one is by Blume. This is the Sunburst Mineral SPF 50 that is water resistant up to 40 minutes, and it has a zinc oxide of 12%. I really like this. This is a new product that recently just came out, and I like it because it has niacinamide, which of course can help to improve texture and tone. And it's also great for those that have oily combination acne prone skin. There is allantoin in here, which can help to soothe the skin. This is very hydrating, so if you wanted to skip a moisturizer, you could use this as your moisturizer, of course, in replacement. And this is a lovely SPF 50 that works well underneath makeup and underneath tinted sunscreens. Very lightweight. It doesn't feel sticky or greasy on the skin. It does dry down skin like in time. When you first apply it, yes, there is initial glow, but there is a little bit of a tint. And I don't want to say a tint because it's not tinted where it's going to even out your skin tone, but there's a beigey tone that I feel helps to minimize a white cast. So I don't see a white cast on my skin whatsoever when I use this. Of course, there's always that possibility with mineral sunscreens if you do have a darker skin tone, but I truly feel like this is going to be a sunscreen that really won't leave a cast on the skin. They formulated this really nicely, and I think that beigey tone really helps to disguise that cast. So if you're looking for a nice SPF 50 that's water resistant up to 40 minutes, that contains niacinamide and allantoin, then I think you're going to really enjoy this. Next is the Olay Sensitive Broad Spectrum SPF 30. This is all mineral with a zinc oxide of 17.5%. Now this is great for those that have sensitive skin or for those that experience compromised skin barriers due to, let's say, active ingredients like tretinoin and so on. This contains colloidal oatmeal, and this ingredient is very calming and soothing. It can help to repair the barrier, moisturize your skin, but also help to reduce on itchy, that burning sensation, and of course redness. So this is fragrance free, and I really like this underneath makeup or underneath a tinted sunscreen, but this is great on its own as well. Now it's a little bit thicker when it comes out, so it's that true white sunscreen, but surprisingly it's very lightweight on the skin. It's not greasy and sticky. I would say it's kind of like skin-like, but it does keep your skin a little bit glowy, which I think looks really beautiful. If that's not your thing, then just of course apply a SPF that's powder on top just to mattify your thing if you really wanted to. But I really like this, especially for my neck area, if my neck is ever feeling compromised. And this is, again, moisturizing, so you could skip your moisturizer if you really wanted to. Now, I truly don't really see a white cast on my skin. If I were to really analyze my skin in the mirror, there might be a slight cast, maybe. So just know that there could be a possibility, but the formula is quite nice, and I like how we can easily purchase this at the local drugstore. So again, great for those that have sensitive skin. Next is the Summer Fridays Shade Drops Broad Spectrum SPF 30 Mineral Milk Sunscreen. This has been one of my go-tos for quite a while now. This has a zinc oxide of 9.4%, and this is very similar to the Blume sunscreen in terms of containing a beigey tone to it. I absolutely do not see a white cast with this whatsoever, and it does have that nice serum texture. So if you want something that is extremely lightweight, that truly feels like you don't have anything on your skin, then you will absolutely love this. This sits nicely on top of moisturizer. I've never experienced pilling before, and also this sits beautifully underneath makeup and of course tinted sunscreens. I use this quite a bit because I love that serum texture. It's very moisturizing, and again, if you want to skip a moisturizer, you totally could, because this just has that perfect formula that keeps your skin comfortable for the entire day, no matter what skin type you have. And I do have combination skin, and I am acne prone. This also contains squalene, which again is very hydrating, and this also contains some antioxidants as well. So I'm a big fan of this. You guys have heard me talk about this many times in the past, and I truly can't recommend this enough. Next is the Colorescience Total Protection No Show Mineral Sunscreen. This has a broad spectrum SPF 50 and it's water resistant up to 40 minutes, and it contains a zinc oxide of 10%. Now, I talked a lot about this last year and I still love it. I'm still using it. And if you're someone that wears a makeup primer before your foundation and of course all of your other makeup products, then you may want to consider giving this a try, because this truly acts as that perfect makeup primer. I generally don't wear makeup primers because I haven't found one that actually works to keep my makeup in place for the entire day as well as going into the evening. This is like magic. It gives this airbrushed appearance to your skin. Your foundation sits so nicely on top of this. It does give the skin this velvety feel, so it does look skin-like. It looks very natural. It's not shiny or sticky. It's definitely not heavy. It is very hydrating on the skin as well. And even if you're someone that doesn't wear makeup or tinted sunscreens, which this sits nicely underneath tinted sunscreens as well, this is great on its own also. It does give this nice blurred out look to the skin. So I highly recommend this. This is truly one of the best mineral sunscreens, honestly, that I've ever used, especially underneath makeup. I can't recommend this enough. If I have somewhere special to go in the evening, let's say a party, or I'm going out for dinner, I will wear this before my foundation because this I can always count on to keeping my skin and my makeup in place for the entire night. So highly recommend if you haven't tried this. Next is the Dr. Dennis Gross All Physical Lightweight Wrinkle Defense Broad Spectrum SPF 30 with a PA++++, and this has a zinc oxide of 16.2%. Now, I have talked a lot about this in the past and I still love it and I'm still using it. And I'm a big fan of this brand because I really enjoy the ingredients that they put into their products because they are so effective for signs of aging, texture and tone, and all of that good stuff. Now, this sunscreen actually contains a lot of anti-aging ingredients, which is why this is one of my favorites. So this has lingonberry. It also contains sea buckthorn, so this will help with signs of aging. There's polyglutamic acid, which is very similar to hyaluronic acid, but polyglutamic acid will hold on to 10 times more moisture than hyaluronic acid. So very hydrating, quite plumping in my opinion. There is ferulic acid in here, which is an antioxidant for signs of aging, aloe, and the list goes on. Very lightweight, it's not sticky or tacky either. It does give this natural skin-like appearance. Another product that works well on its own. I've never seen a white cast with this one either, and this also sits nicely underneath makeup and tinted sunscreen. So if you're looking for a good sunscreen that contains multiple ingredients to target signs of aging, then I think you will really enjoy this one. Murad is the next sunscreen. This is another one that I've been putting to the test lately, and this is the Correct and Protect Serum Broad Spectrum SPF 45 with a PA++++. This has a zinc oxide of 17%. Now, if you're looking for a true serum textured sunscreen, this is it. As you can see, it contains a dropper, and I love this type of formula. It's very hydrating. It spreads really nicely across the skin. I really don't see a white cast with this either. There might be a slight cast, but nothing that is too noticeable. And the formula is really beautiful, especially for those that are looking to brighten up their complexion. If you have post-acne marks, dark spots, discoloration, a dull complexion, you're going to love it. So this contains squalene, niacinamide, amino acids. There's ascorbic acid, which is the purest form of vitamin C, retinol palmitate, jojoba seed oil, shea butter, and the list goes on. So very hydrating. You could totally skip a moisturizer if you wanted to. And again, this really does brighten up the skin. And I think right now it's sold out if I'm not mistaken. This is also water resistant up to 40 minutes, which is a great thing. So if you're a fan of Murad, you're looking for that serum texture and something to brighten up your complexion, then you're going to really love this. It gives this nice silky, satiny feel and look to the skin. So it looks skin-like, but it might be a little bit more mattified than skin-like. So it's not super matte, but it does give that non-shiny look where it just looks like your skin. Another sunscreen that I've been putting to the test is Access Y. This is K-Beauty, and this is the Complete No Stress Physical Sunscreen SPF 50 with a PA++++ and a zinc oxide of 17%. This also contains great ingredients like squalene, 2% niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, mugwort, which is actually an ingredient that can help help protect our skin from everyday pollution. There's green tea, chamomile, and the list goes on. Now this is another sunscreen that sits beautifully underneath foundation and makeup, and of course tinted sunscreens. This keeps your makeup in place for the entire day, so this is another option that acts as that nice makeup primer. This wears on its own quite nicely as well, so this will give that natural look to your skin. There is a little bit of a mattify feel and look to the skin as well, but it's not too mattifying, because if it was, I wouldn't like it. So this truly keeps your skin looking like skin. And I do get a little bit of a white cast with this, I'm not gonna lie. So when I first apply it, it does turn into like this white purpley tone, but as I get working this into my skin, that goes away, and then I might have a slight cast to my skin. So I like it though, I like the ingredients, and I love how this sits nicely underneath tinted sunscreens and makeup. Moving on to lip SPFs. This is really important. We have to protect the lips just as much as the rest of our body. So I really like the Ultraviolet Sheen Hydrating Lip Balm SPF 50. So this comes in 3 shades. I have it in the shade Bejeweled, and this is all chemical, so there's no mineral formulation here. Now I like this on its own, it's very sheer, but if you pair this up with a lip liner or put this on top of a lipstick, then of course you can make this more vibrant, and I love it. I love how it's an SPF 50. Now the Drmtlgy SPF 25 lip balm is another great option. This is not tinted, but this has that menthol scent to it, which actually helps to disguise that sunscreen smell. And this is an SPF 25, whereas this is an SPF 50. I much prefer to use something with a higher SPF, especially if I'm going to be outside for a long period of time. But this one here has a lot of oils in it. This one actually contains shea butter, lanolin, so they're both extremely hydrating. It just depends whether you want a tinted, a non-tinted, something with a higher SPF, but this one is all chemical as well. Moving on to body sunscreens, I have 2 here. The first one is the new Sol de Janeiro Rio Radiance SPF 50 Body Lotion. This is all mineral with a zinc oxide of 20%, and this does have an illumination formula to it where it gives a nice glow to the skin. Now, when I first used this, I wasn't sure about this at first because number one, the scent is very strong. It has a floral scent, and generally I am not a fan of floral scents. I like fruity, more woody, spicy scents, but as it dried down and that scent toned down a little bit after an hour or so, then I actually really enjoyed the scent. I thought it smelled really nice. Now, one other thing that I realized that is so important is you need to moisturize your skin well before using this, because if you don't, I don't feel like this spreads very nicely. So you could use one of the Sol de Janeiro body butters prior to using this, but then of course you might have 2 scents going on, or you could just prep it with some other type of body lotion or body butter. But if you prep your skin well beforehand and you have that nice slip, then this is going to spread really nicely across the skin, and you do get this nice glow. And then of course it does smell quite nice also, because I don't like that sunscreen smell, especially for my body. So I like how this has that nice Sol de Janeiro scent. And if that's not your thing, then of course you're gonna wanna pass on this, but I don't get a white cast whatsoever, and I actually quite like it. But there really isn't a lot of good reviews on this, and I can understand, but again, if you prep your skin well beforehand, it shouldn't be an issue. And the last product is by Colorescience. This is the Body Shield. This is the classic formulation. They did once have a bronzed option, but I do believe that one is being discontinued, or it has already been discontinued. But this is not tinted, and this has a broad spectrum SPF 50 with a PA++++, and this is water and sweat resistant up to 80 minutes, and it does contain a zinc oxide of 12%. And this has been my go-to body sunscreen for a couple of years now, and I really do enjoy it. Yes, it does leave a little bit of a cast on the skin, but if I'm outside for a long period of time, like especially if I'm walking Berkeley or I'm just outside in general in the summer, then this is my go-to, because this is a little bit difficult to remove off your skin at the end of the day. And that's what you want if you're gonna be near water, you're gonna be sweating or playing sports. You want that formula to stay on your skin and not melt off. So this is a very good water resistant sunscreen that stays on your skin. Yes, again, there is a cast, so if you have darker skin, you most likely will see it, but it does the job, and I never burn with this. I do reapply this if I'm going to be outside for a long period of time, which we should all be doing, but I think this is a really nice option, and I do like to put this all over. Arms, legs, chest, everywhere, and it never ever disappoints. We made it. I know that was a lot to go through, but those are my favorite sunscreens for 2024, and I thought about not sharing all of these because I hate when a video is super lengthy, but I hope that you were able to make it to the end, and I always want to provide options because we're all looking for something different, especially when it comes to sunscreen. There are so many different formulas and ingredients, textures, and different tints, and I always want to share a variety of options for you. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that I was able to introduce you to a new sunscreen today. Of course, everything will be linked below for you, like I said, including discount codes. I do have a 20% off discount code with Drmtlgy also, but I would love to hear from you. What is your favorite face and body sunscreen? List them off in the comments below. I would love a good body recommendation. I prefer mineral, and I prefer something that doesn't have that sunscreen smell. I really need to look for more body sunscreens, so list off your favorites below, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask away. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And of course, I will see you all in the next video. Take care, and I will see you all then. Bye, guys.